sorry to any of you who hate holes. Today is another DIY here on SoCraftastic. I'm showing you how to make the elusive ice candle. It's not really that elusive, but I had to think of a word on the spot, okay? I would tell you guys that I'm testing a Pinterest craft, but in all honesty, I am recreating a project that I did back in Girl Scouts when I was, I want to say like 8 years old. I asked my mom to search my old childhood bedroom for the original candle that I made, but we must have gotten rid of it at some point. I don't know where it is. I was gonna insert a clip of it in this video. This has existed for a very long time before the internet became popular, so I don't want none of y'all to come at me. I don't usually say y'all, but anyway, please don't come at me saying that I copied such and such YouTuber, blah blah blah, any of that. It's fun, so we're doing it. I hope you enjoy. P.S. If you didn't see a couple days ago and you're interested, I did post a new bullet journal spread. The March one is up, so I'll link that below and in the iCard up there. But right now, let's get on into the ice candle tutorial. To make the mold for the candle, you'll want to use something that is similar to a milk carton, so a paper container of some sort that holds a liquid. I'm using an empty coconut water box. I've already washed and dried this out completely. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut my container down to size because this will be a very tall candle and use a lot of wax. So I'm just going to cut the top off and make it shorter. I was struggling a little bit with the scissors, so if you want to try and use an X-Acto blade, that might help, but I did manage and it didn't take too long. Now you can see it's split in two, and I am actually going to end up cutting that down a little bit more. So here I have my wick, and you want to make sure that the container is a good amount shorter than the wick. You'll want to wrap that around something so it can hang on and stay in place. So that's why you want, you know, a couple extra inches to hang off. So now I'm going to show you how to set up that holder at the top. I'm using a pencil. You could use a popsicle stick or some sort of wooden dowel. I'm basically just going to form a little ledge for this to sit on. On either side, I'm cutting 2 slits to create an indent. After cutting it on one side, you'll want to do that directly across from it on the other side like I did here. And then the pencil should just be able to sit there and not really move. So I have the heat set on the stove to a medium boil, and I'm going to melt down these different colors of wax here. You can do any color you want, and you may recognize this heart from my previous candle video. I'll link my entire candle playlist below and in the iCard if you're interested in seeing it. But moving back onto this tutorial, here you can see my water is about boiling, and I'm putting my candle melting pitcher inside, and then I'm just going to throw those wax cubes in. I literally kind of tossed these ones in, and they're just gonna sit there and melt. For some reason, I really enjoy speeding up melting wax footage, so here's a little bit of that for you guys to see. Excuse my voice, but the past week I've had a cold / sinus infection. I don't know what it is. I didn't go to the doctor. Just so you know why I sound a little scratchy. While the wax is melting, you can go ahead and grab some ice cubes. If your refrigerator or freezer has that function where it'll crush the ice cubes for you, you might want to do that. But I just have whole ice cubes in my ice cube maker in the freezer, so I have a bowl of them. I'm going to dump them into this Ziploc bag, and then I'm going to, I was attempting to not have the ice cubes get all over the chunks of it, so I covered it with a towel, but that made it really hard to break with the hammer because it was cushioning the ice as well. I decided to take it off and just deal with the holes that would be put into the bag. Not a big deal, but you can see that some of them do escape, and you'll have to put them back in, but this makes it a lot easier to break. Also, for the wick, you don't need to have this metal base at the bottom of yours. You can just get a spool of it, or however you want to buy it in bulk or whatever. This is the only one I had, so I'm going to work with it. I'm going to end up cutting that off, and I'm going to now place the wick at the bottom and try to secure it a little bit with washi tape. You want to try and put it as close to the middle as possible because this is going to obviously serve as the actual candle wick of your candle. So try and get that in the middle, and then just wrap the rest, the excess, around the top on the pencil or popsicle stick, whatever you happen to be using. And now it is time to put that crushed ice inside. You don't want to have too small of chunks, but you don't want to have too large of ones. So just kind of do something in the middle like I've done here. And if you're doing multiple candles, you can definitely experiment and see which size of ice works better for your personal preference. So I'm gonna fill up my carton about like half to 3/4 of the way. You don't want to fill it all the way up. And the reason for this is because the places where the ice and wax meet, those places are going to have holy like crevices, therefore the candle won't be as sturdy. So you do want to have an area where it's just going to be solid candle wax to help hold it together better. Now I've brought my melted wax over and it's been cooling for a couple minutes. You can see when I tip the container, it's hardening along the edge a little bit. This is a good thing. That means it's not too incredibly hot and it won't melt the ice ridiculously fast or anything. So I recommend you don't pour it until it has cooled off for a few minutes. It'll still be completely liquidy, as you can see. And now I'm just pouring it rather slowly and evenly into the container, making sure to get on top of all the ice cubes. Go at least a 1/2 inch to 1 inch over where the ice ends, so you have that solid wax area. Now for this part, it's been a long time since I've done an ice candle. I don't really remember what we did for this section. I don't know how long we left the wax when I was a kid, so I decided to try and alleviate some of the pressure from the melting ice because I didn't know if that water would expand and crack the wax a little bit. So I decided to put some holes along the sides, and this did help let the water out, but later on you will see that the little holes from the tacks were present in the wax, so this probably isn't a great idea unless you just want to puncture the very bottom. So I think what's most helpful for this candle is to monitor it to the point where it's finally firm enough to rip the carton, the paper carton, away from the wax. You don't want to wait too much longer than, I would say, 10 to 15 minutes because that ice inside is going to be melting and there's going to be a lot of water to deal with. So I wouldn't recommend leaving this overnight or anything to sit. I haven't tried it, like I said, but I just feel like the water won't have anywhere to escape. So I am carefully now removing and cutting slits in the carton and peeling those away, ripping those away as carefully as I possibly can. You don't want to go crazy with this and accidentally crack any of the wax because parts of this are going to be very fragile. After the carton is completely peeled away, you're almost done, but you're going to have to wait for a while for the ice cubes to completely melt because you can't burn this while it's still damp or wet. So I recommend just letting it lay on a towel, and you can rotate it every couple hours if you want to. It doesn't really matter, but don't try to remove the ice cubes before they're ready or else you'll create bigger holes, unless that's what you're going for. Some of these holes are rather small and maybe you would want them to be a little bit bigger for an aesthetic value. I don't know, up to you. I'm using the non-holy end of the candle as the bottom since it is more sturdy, so I cut that wick completely away at the bottom. And if you want to kind of clean that up a little bit so the candle sits more flat and isn't wobbly like this, you can totally do that. I found that kind of shaving it away with a sharp knife was easy for me. It doesn't take a lot of time, and it does look a lot nicer if you do clean up that bottom. Finally, I'm going to show you how it burns a little bit. I didn't want to burn it completely. But I do want to let you guys know that this probably won't burn for a very long time because, as you can see here at the end, the wick has already gone down pretty far, and I've only been burning this for, I want to say, 5 to 10 minutes to get this footage. And yeah, it's pretty far down, so this isn't a very practical candle. Most of the time I don't make practical candles because I personally don't burn them. I've just never been really into burning candles. I like looking at them. So yeah, not the most practical, but I thought this was a really cool idea to share with you guys if you haven't seen it yet. It was a lot of fun when I made it years ago, and revisiting the idea has been really nostalgic. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm currently on a ski trip, Boyne, Michigan. I'm having a blast, I'm sure, but I'll update you guys with vlog footage on that in the near future. Trying to get back to Friday, Sunday, and Tuesday. But anyway, just hang tight for the next video. I'll get it up as soon as possible. I'm working hard. I hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you soon. Talking real fast. Okay, bye.